Greetings and salutations in our dozens. This is I, Wolfphototech, and here we go with a review on the D&D Spellbook cards for Druid for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. These are produced by Gale Force 9, under release with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. This deck contains 131 cards. This is specifically cards of spells from the player's handbook. This is a really handy-dandy deck for entirely new players to get. If you're new to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition and you play in person, on the card there's the name of the spell, casting time, duration down here, range, components, and then there's also the material components if there's any material components included on the spell, which in this case it doesn't. It describes the spell through. If the spell goes longer than the card is or goes really close to the bottom, it will oftentimes say see spell, see player's handbook, page blah 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 blah. In the case of leveled spells, there will also be a heightening effect down here, or any cantrips that increase as your level goes up. If there's a C there, it's concentration. As I said before, upcasting. There's also the class right here. On the back side, there will be a number designating what level spell it is. And in some cases, if the text runs really long, as I said, it'll say see page blah blah blah. But also, could I find some other example of something? There's speak with plants with the text that says see blah 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 page. However, there is also various other cards that will have, like, they'll say Druid, Desert, Land. That's a specific subclass, subvariant of that subclass that has that spell as an class spell. And that's the basic overall features of this deck. It's a generally nice box that they come in. I've used these actually quite a few times. They're actually fairly nice. However, I don't use them nearly as much as I used to anymore because I kind of invested heavily into D&D Beyond. However, if I were to need to go back to a world where there's less internet access, these are handy dandy in that case. If you're out in the middle of the woods, they're good cards. In the case of spells that you do not have in these cards, you can always use one of these, or you can go and purchase just other third-party decks, which I have to go and buy to confirm if they actually have more spells in them from the newer sets. So, and that's the difficult part, getting all the cards back into the box, because it also folds from the bottom. So you always have to put a few cards in first. That way you get you keep all the cards from spilling out. These are generally good player aids for a brand new player to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, or anyone who has just attention deficit disorders, or etc., you know, a little bit of attention, a little bit of organization issues. You can line them up on the table by level, and you can pull out the ones you have prepared or learned. This deck is, they don't make any more series of these cards. Gale Force 9 only went as far as Xanathar's Guide with these decks, and they kind of stopped from there. There was a series of lawsuit between Wizards of the Coast and Gale Force 9 over various issues. I never really looked up exactly what it was. But anyways, these decks are still pretty useful overall. They're entirely limited to the PHB Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, and in the case of this one, the expansion, Xanathar's Guide. So, in the case of these decks, they're roughly like in the 3-star, 3.5-star territory. They are pretty decent. The build is pretty good overall, but as they add new spells to the list and do erratas, it kind of goes, the value falls down. And Wizards of the Coast is pretty much focused on the digital platforms, and they're kind of leaving stuff behind like this. And for a person who, like me, who likes physical media, likes to collect stuff, this is kind of sad. Because, you know, when Wizards of the Coast decides to, like, literally when they bought D&D Beyond, or focus heavily on moving everyone to digital platforms, you are literally just leasing usage rights to said books and spells. And at any point, Wizards of the Coast could simply pull the whole service down because they have a new edition comes in over the horizon, and they just want to get rid of stuff. People will say this is not going to happen. Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition is proof that they are perfectly fine with doing that. So there, your argument is dead, in the water, before you even made it. So there you go. If you want to have physical cards, official ones, this is the set to get. If you want really, really nice cards, Hit Point Press has really nice cards. I've only seen them in person. I don't own any of them. It's just that. At some point I'll get them, and I will do a review of them. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And tell me in the comments below what you think of spell cards and any of your other opinions on other concepts related to D&D and other tabletop RPGs. At some point in the future, I will do the Paizo spell cards, which is actually produced by Paizo, and I will also cover Paizo products in more depth than I have in the past. I have 2 more books that are in the mail. They should be here very shortly, and I will show all those off very quickly. Maybe before this video posts. I don't know. I make these videos on one day or 2 days, and then I upload them across a week, or 2 weeks if I get really productive. So thank you very much for watching. Have a delightful day, a nice night, and a wonderful week, and see you next time.